Com. Thank you so much for joining in on this live stream. In today's video, I want to cover something that happened recently to me and give you 5 tips to overcome it when or if it happens to you again, right? And so we're talking about dealing with angry customers here. And whether or not you have a service-based business, whether or not you have a digital products business, whether or not you have a physical product business, you are going to deal with angry customers. And if you're the solopreneur just getting started, everything falls on you, right? You don't have a customer support team to deal with all of that stuff. And even if you do have a customer support team, it's important for you to also have this in your mind, because problems will always bubble up to the top, and these problems are totally fixable and avoidable and able to not bring you down. Here's the thing. When you have an angry customer, it is super duper easy for it to derail you. And I'll tell you a brief little story here. I won't give any names or anything like that. But recently, I just wrapped up a 6-week training program where I took over a dozen entrepreneurs or becoming entrepreneurs, and I took them over the course of a 6-week period to craft their own offer, to create a sales funnel. We were driving traffic given Facebook ads, and we were trying to break even by giving a freebie and offering a tripwire on the back end of that sale. We were building our lists, we were making sales, we were validating our offer, we were doing a ton of things, right? So over the course of 6 weeks, I would spend about 8 to 10 hours one day a week with them to help them push through that process. It was an intense experience, to say the least. I was basically glued to my computer for 8 to 10 hours a day, one day a week, to help them get through the material, right? Most students saw amazing success. I'll have a separate video and separate things you can check out about what we've done in our last cohort. But we had one student, for example, got leads for under 15 cents, which is insane. I've only gotten results like that once in my life. And we've got many people who launched, many people who are validating their idea, and some people, obviously, they're going to have that bell curve of people who don't really take action. Well, I had one student who was not on the action-taking side. They were, for example, they only showed up, I think, to one of the 6 coaching calls. And I got an angry email from this person. And it was kind of like, rawr, like a bad, made me what the heck am I doing with my life type of email. And it derailed me for a couple of days. There weren't a lot of specifics in the email, but the emotion was there. It was charged. It was like, I think I'm a pretty authentic guy. I try to live my life. I'm a Christian. I try to always give value first. I don't think that anything that she's saying is legitimate, but it's still, no matter what, it'll still affect you. Okay. So I processed it. I went back through all of my training because I was a manager and a leader of people back in the corporate world. And I put together my game plan, my action plan, and I want to share that with you. Okay. At the end of the day, when I talked to this person, I did talk to this person on the next live training. We worked through it, and I understood this person was just not going through a good time. It really wasn't even related to me. There was a lot of misunderstanding. There was a lot of personal stuff going on in that person's life. I just became the pincushion for this customer. And so what I'm going to do in this video is walk through the 5-step process. I want you to kind of remember when the next angry customer comes up. Not if, but when, because it will, okay? And you can get through this, and in these steps, it'll be important for you to kind of just go through them one by one and not jump to conclusions like I did even when it happens, okay? So let's go ahead and waste no time here and dive in. So when you have angry customers, the first thing I want you to do is seek to understand first before you yourself are to be understood. So what that means is if you get an angry email or you get somebody who calls you on the phone and blasts you for a little bit, I don't want you to go straight into defense mode, okay? It's so common that self-preservation in us, we want to go into that defensive mode of no, you didn't do this right, or I did this right and you did not do that right. That's a very common flaw that you can do when you're diving into this experience. And the thing is that oftentimes you don't have the full picture. They might be yelling at you for ABC, but in reality, they're frustrated about something else, XYZ, to use the alphabet metaphor, right? They might be just having a hard time in their personal life. And when you can really ask the questions, which is how you want to understand first, I want you to ask questions. You can say, hey, tell me more. Can you be more specific? If they're unhappy with a product, what was it? Where did you get stuck? What result did you expect to get, and what result did you actually experience? Or what did you think going in? Were they unclear when they were reading your sales message? And did they think they were signing up for something and they got something else? Okay, that was a lot of what happened in this scenario. The other thing I want you to understand as well is the bell curve, right? If you guys don't like statistics, sorry, I'm a big statistics geek, but it helps. So you're going to have a bell curve, and you're going to have these standard deviations of people. And what I mean by that is most of your people are going to live in this kind of happy medium place where, these people over here, they're going to get some results. They're not going to bother you. They'll probably never send you an email, and they'll be able to take your content, your products, and go and take action and get results. Then there's the group over here that maybe they buy from you, they ask you a few questions, maybe they don't take action on the content that they purchased, and that's okay. Unfortunately, that is a lot of the world, right? Who will buy something and they'll expect a result, but they also know that, hey, I have to do the work to get that result, and if they choose not to do the work, they're not going to get mad at you. If anything, they might be looking inside of themselves to see what do I need to do differently to take action on the next time I take up an opportunity like that. Okay, and that's going to be about a good 50 to 75% of the population. Then you're going to have the rock stars over here. And, for example, one of my rock stars, she was able to launch a very simple ad to a very simple opt-in page to a great offer. And she's getting leads for well under a quarter. And she's able to turn those into multiple sales. And she has this engaged list. So she's doing everything right. She's listening. She showed up to every call. She asked questions. We worked through it. She went through the content and she implemented. So that's going to be like your glory students. This is where your testimonials are going to come from. This is where your what makes you happy, what keeps you going in the entrepreneurial journey. It's going to come from this quadrant. Unfortunately, this quadrant is only I think it's 5% of the total population. And again, it's been a little while since I've done actual statistics work, so I don't know what the exact percentage is, but you get the idea. And then over here on the other side, this is what we're really talking about here. This is going to be that last 5 to 10% of your population that might not really take action on what you do, but not only that, they're going to become kind of your problem children. And these people they're good people, right? Like, don't get mad at the person. Understand the situation and understand that you're going to have this in any business model you have. You're going to have this bell curve, and just be prepared for it. And that's really what this video is all about. All right. So number 2, I want you to look for evidence. Right? So you're asking questions, you're trying to understand. So once you have that clarity, once you have the understanding of what their actual problem is, get some validation going on here. And what I mean by that is, are they right? They could be right. I don't think they're going to be right, but they very well could be. So this is where you go from turning your lens to asking them questions to now looking at yourself and asking yourself questions. Okay, is my product good? Right? Did my sales page communicate the actual result my product gave them? Or did I, overpromise and tell them it's going to be a turnkey solution? You click 2 buttons and all of a sudden your ads are profitable. For example, this student of mine, their understanding was they weren't doing really the strategy the right way. A lot of things were messed up, and their understanding was, well, I thought if I just made a couple of tweaks and I spent this money with you and I made a couple of tweaks, that everything would work and I'd be profitable and I'd be able to 5x my money with an ad. And I told this person, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. There is work. And go through the process, work with me, show up, and we'll get it done. And the people that did that did get it done. So if you look for evidence and you say, hey, did I mislead them in the sales process? No. Did I underdeliver on the product that I made? No. Did I give this person every chance to succeed? Yes. If you can walk through those questions and you can answer honestly to yourself that you did what you were supposed to do, and the only thing you didn't do was the mind control or the motivation control to get the person to follow through, you're in the clear. There's another student we've had a long time ago where they would purchase, and then immediately they were like, ooh, this is actually a lot of work. It's like, yeah. And I got on the phone with them. I said, let's walk through the sales page so you understand what we're doing, and now let's make a plan for you. And this person went through it. They respected being treated like a person and not being. I didn't attack them. I just walked through the statistics and the facts with them, and then we made a plan. And this person, we worked together and we got results. Right. So look for evidence. There's a chance that your sales page, you were trying so hard to get the sale, right, that maybe you did overpromise. it happens. In which case, we're going to talk about what to do in that scenario. But if you're in the right, move on. If you're not in the right, you got to find a way to fix that. And we'll talk about some ways to do that towards the end. All right, look for evidence. Number 3 is to be fair and balanced. And this sounds not like Fox News or anything, but in business, it's so tempting to be a people pleaser. Most entrepreneurs are people pleasers. They're people that want to go out and they want to make a difference. And they think that they need to, the customer's always right, like one of those old mantras. But there's several scenarios, this one being one of them, where the customer can't be right all the time. For example, let's say you're running a 5-day special. And on day 6 or day 7, you get an email from somebody that says, hey, can I still get this deal? I know I'm late, but excuse. Can you please give me the deal anyways? The natural intention or like inclination for you as an entrepreneur is, oh, yay, I get another sale. Or, oh, yay, I can make somebody happy and I can make them make their day and maybe even get a nice testimonial out of it because of my customer service, right? That could be one perspective you might take. But you have to think about the other coin. What about all the others who were on the fence during that 5-day sale, but they bought because they knew their chance was ending, right? You need to consider what the population is doing and try the best you can to limit those onesie-twosie special deals, right? Because what happens is, while you might think on the one hand you're making a person happy, on the other hand you're also kind of diluting your brand. So there were people that would ask against the refund policy for a special help or some sponsorship or some scholarship. But if you open up to a whole new avenue of like legalese and, if I do this and that, and you make all these special deals, it can be very difficult for you to manage. It can like crowd your headspace. And ultimately it's not doing your brand a good service long term. Okay. So if you look at the evidence and you decide, I really screwed up here, take action on it, but be able to offer whatever choice you make. If you're changing something, if you're extending coaching durations, if you're giving one-on-one help, if you're doing whatever the case might be, it's important to be balanced, because what you don't want to have happen is you have somebody who was a very happy customer, but then they come out to find out that you are making special deals with other customers, but they didn't get it because they were respectful of you and they didn't like beg for it. Then you don't want to take your best customers and make them angry at you or upset because you were not fair. Okay, so be fair and balanced. And number 4, always be professional. Count to 10 before responding. Do all those things. Make sure if people ad hominem attack you, like they attack your character, your personality, or you as a person, right? That stinks. Nobody wants that. The last thing you should do is do it back to them. Never make judgments. Try never to assume what's going on. If you're going to make assumptions, try to assume in the best light possible. So maybe you're like, hey, they're probably just having a bad day, and let's try to understand that more. When you go back to number 1 and you understand what's going on, you can remove the judgment from however you respond to it, and you can maintain your professionalism, right? That can be difficult, right? It can be difficult to be a professional when things get really rough, but it's important to do that and to make sure that you stick true to your brand. And then lastly, number 5, always maintain that spirit of continuous improvement. So even if you go back and you look at the evidence and you said, hey, everything was good, I want you to go through and that person was misled for some reason. Maybe it was just they didn't want it bad enough, so they didn't take action. Is there any messaging in your sales page that you can improve that? Can you put a big warning sign that says, hey, by the way, this is what can happen. You need to put in the work. I'm here to help you, but this is what you need to do. That can hurt your number of sales, but it's also going to save your brain so much anxiety if you get people who come in with false expectations. So keep your continuous improvement. Ask them for specifics of what they didn't like in the course or the product or the service. What were they misled by? And look for opportunities either within the product itself, in the marketing messaging, or the ads of how you're trying to drive people towards this whole process. What can you do to reduce the recurrence of that issue, right? Because essentially an angry customer is a defect, right? If I think back to engineering, the whole point of a process, a sales process, a manufacturing process, anything, is to reduce defects. And if you find out that you have a defect in your process, get the root cause. Figure out what led to that problem, what led to that defect emerging, and what can you do to prevent it in the future. All right. So that's it for me today, guys. I think my comments are working. I'm not seeing any. So let me know if you can see or hear me in the comments here. And, oopsies. Now I lost my screen. Oh, darn technology. Yeah. So that's it for me today, guys. I hope this is helpful. I hope this let you know that it's okay to get frustrated with when things aren't going your way. You're going to have upset customers. There's a right and a wrong way to deal with them. I hope I gave you 5 actionable tips to make sure you stay on the right side of the equation. And that's it. One special note I want to let you know is I did recently put together a brand new funnel, a done-for-you funnel. This is a new opportunity, a new offer I'm putting together. It's in the works, but I have one that's up and coming right now. If you go to freakyfastfunnels.com, there should be a link in the description of this video. And awesome. Then you will be able to go in and take a look at it. Right now, I have some funnels available for Influencersoft, which is an all-in-one solution. It's very, very easy to work with. I'm enjoying it. It's what I'm teaching inside some of my courses. So that's available. And if you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see, if you're struggling with designing out something or piecing together your funnel, let me know in the comments down below how I can help you and serve you. I want to make sure that I remove as many barriers as possible from people being able to take action on these activities. All right. Seeing some nice comments. Thank you guys. Excellent customer service suggestions. Thank you. You're very welcome. And Larry says, great share. Appreciate it, man. All right, guys. That's it for me today. I will see you in the next live stream. Thank you so much and be well.